Ignite is an ongoing series of speedy presentations. Each speaker gets only 5 minutes and 20 slides that auto-advance every 15 seconds.
Thank you. Good evening. And thank you. So, like my predecessor, tough shoes to fill, I don't want to talk to you about particularly how I built a business as a social worker. I want to talk to you how literally the most painful experience in my life to date was a springboard for me as a social worker to live my dreams. So this particular story starts with a happy social worker. Blessed and grateful to have chosen a career that literally in every moment has me serving others. And I was blessed to rise up the food chain and eventually was an associate director at one of the largest human services organizations on Long Island that serves homeless and hungry neighbors of ours. I actually was beginning to facilitate a meeting with my staff one day, and I experienced the most excruciating, lightning pain in my jaw. I couldn't even say hello. Stopped me in my tracks. I went to the emergency room, and after a few visits with a neurologist, was diagnosed with a condition called trigeminal neuralgia, which is also known as the suicide disease, because it's literally the most painful condition known on the planet Earth. So needless to say, I was scared as all get out. What does this mean for me? The pain was so excruciating that it was literally unbearable. So over the course of 18 months, my health declined to the point where I couldn't speak without excruciating pain, and even a breeze across my face would set off the worst pain that you could imagine. I can now admit, outside of close company, that I sunk into a depression. When you get to a point where you can't speak, other people have to feed you. I cringed when I felt a yawn coming on or a sneeze. And I got to a point where I was literally dependent on morphine shots just to deal with the pain. Percocet is like Tic Tacs for me right now, because I built up such, a tolerance. And went to Good Samaritan Hospital literally for weekly morphine shots. It's nerve pain, and we talk a lot in society about emotional pain, but this physical, visceral pain literally had me at a point where, although I didn't actively plan to leave this life, I began to think that I actually might be better off if I wasn't here. So when my doctor told me, well, the best thing for you at this point is brain surgery, I said, I'm just gonna have to get used to this morphine. They told me they'd have to drill a hole in my head and put a medical-grade Teflon sheath around the nerve so that the blood vessels that were pressing on it and causing the pain could not do their job at that point. One day I was at home and I had an attack and was literally screaming. My mother, who has MS, was home, and hearing her cry because she heard me in pain was when the light bulb went off that I didn't have to choose to suffer. And so the night before, when I had my brain surgery in July of 2006, a friend of mine asked me, what are you going to do when you wake up? Not if you wake up. What are you going to do when you wake up? So as you can tell, I woke up. And within 3 months of a miraculous recovery, an unprecedented recovery, I hopped a plane and I went to Brazil because that's been on my bucket list since I was in 6th grade, and wrote a report on Brazil and the African traditions that are still present there today. Have traveled literally all over the globe, gratefully, since then. And one of the biggest blessings that came out of this is that I finally, as a social worker, in a field where we're told we couldn't be entrepreneurs and actually have wealth or create wealth and actually have a large-scale business that contributes to society, I did just that, and established a private practice and a consulting and training business that I am blessed today to enjoy and to work with many of you that are in this room to actually grow. And I realized that there are so many blessings that came out of this experience. I don't know and I can't say if I actually would be here or if I would be in business and an entrepreneur and willing to take risks if I didn't. So I've come up with a model of literally choosing bliss, because it's not something that happens to us. I believe that it is a choice. Believe that we are worthy to live our dreams and that we have the capacity to actually bring them into reality. Love ourselves and others without explanation or apology. Inspire others by living big, because that's how we've been given permission to live big. Say thank you, because you can't actually acknowledge the blessings unless you offer gratitude. And scatter the joy, because having fun and being in joy is actually best when you can share it with others. Thank you very much.